What if I told you that hidden across Ohio, there are towns that don't just feel strange, they feel wrong. Places where roads lead nowhere, where entire communities vanished, and where people swear they've experienced things that simply don't make sense. We're not talking about urban legends made up on the internet. We're talking about real locations with real history and stories that are still being told today. Some of these towns look frozen in time. Others feel like they're hiding something. And one of them, well, people say you shouldn't even go there after dark. Stay with me until number 1, because the final town on this list is so unsettling, it's hard to believe it actually exists. Let's begin. 12. Helltown. Helltown isn't just a nickname. It's what people actually call this place. And once you hear why, it starts to make sense. Back in the 1970s, the government began buying land in this area to turn it into a national park. Families were forced to leave their homes, businesses shut down, and within a few years, the entire town was nearly empty. But here's where things start to feel off. Not everyone left. Some residents reportedly refused to abandon their homes, even after the town was officially shut down. Over time, buildings decayed, roads became overgrown, and the area slowly turned into something that feels abandoned, but not completely. Visitors today talk about strange silence. No birds, no wind, nothing. Just quiet. There's also a road that locals call End of the World, where the pavement suddenly stops at a steep drop, with no warning signs at all. Some people claim they've seen figures standing near the edge, watching them, before disappearing into the trees. 11. Loveland. Loveland looks like the kind of town you'd expect to be peaceful and quiet. Clean streets, friendly neighborhoods, nothing unusual. But once night falls, the stories change completely. This is where the legend of the Loveland Frogman comes from. A creature described as being about 4 feet tall, walking on 2 legs, with leathery skin and glowing eyes. The first reports date back decades, but sightings have continued over the years. What makes it even stranger is that some of these reports didn't come from random people. They came from individuals who claimed they were trained observers. One story describes the creature standing near a bridge, completely still, as if it was watching traffic pass by. Then suddenly, it moved. Not like an animal, not like a human, something in between. 10. Milan. Milan might be known as the birthplace of a famous inventor, but there's another side to this town that doesn't make it into history books. People who visit Milan often describe a strange feeling, like being watched, even when they're alone. There are reports of empty buildings where footsteps can be heard on upper floors, even though no one is there. Doors have been known to close suddenly, without any wind or movement to explain it. Some locals believe the town holds on to its past more tightly than it should. They talk about certain streets that feel colder than others, and areas where sound seems to disappear completely. It's not loud or dramatic, it's subtle, and that's what makes it more unsettling. 9. Puddin Bay. Puddin Bay is known for being a lively island destination. During the day, it's full of energy, tourists, and activity. But at night, things feel different. The lake surrounding the island has a long history of strange sightings. People have reported seeing what looks like ships moving across the water, silent, slow, and completely unlit. Then, without warning, they vanish. Others have described moments where time seems to shift. Watches stop working, phones glitch, and what feels like minutes turns out to be hours. Some even say the water itself feels unnatural, like it's hiding something beneath the surface, something you can't see, but can definitely feel. 8. Athens. Athens has built a reputation over the years as one of the most unsettling places in Ohio. Part of that reputation comes from its layout. Some believe the town sits on a pattern of locations that form a perfect shape, a coincidence that many find hard to ignore. But it's not just the layout, it's the experiences. There's an old asylum in the area that has become the center of countless reports. People claim they've seen shadows moving through hallways, heard voices echoing through empty rooms, and felt sudden drops in temperature that don't match the environment. One particular area is known for a stain on the floor that refuses to disappear, no matter how many times it's cleaned. Visitors say standing near it creates a feeling that's difficult to describe, like something is pressing down on you. 7. Zanesville. Zanesville is known for an event that turned an ordinary town into something out of a nightmare. In 2011, dozens of exotic animals were released into the surrounding area, creating chaos that lasted for hours. While most of the animals were eventually accounted for, the incident left a lasting impact on the town. Since then, there have been strange reports from nearby areas. People claim they've heard sounds in the distance that don't match any local wildlife. Some describe deep, low noises echoing through the night. Others say they've seen movement in areas where nothing should be. Whether it's imagination or something else, no one seems completely sure. 6. Salem. Salem might look like just another quiet Ohio town at first glance. But the longer you stay, the more something starts to feel off. It's not loud or obvious. There are no big dramatic stories happening every day. Instead, it's subtle, and that's what makes it unsettling. Over the years, Salem has gained a reputation for strange, unexplained experiences, especially along its quieter roads and older parts of town. One of the most talked about mysteries involves certain hills where cars appear to roll uphill on their own. Drivers have tested it by putting their cars in neutral, and somehow, the vehicle still moves in the opposite direction. Some say it's just an illusion, but not everyone believes that. There are also reports of abandoned houses where lights flicker late at night, even though there's no electricity running through them anymore. People passing by have claimed they've seen shadows move behind the windows, but when they get closer, the buildings are completely empty. Then there are the sounds. Late at night, residents sometimes hear faint noises, like footsteps, distant voices, or doors closing somewhere far away. Not clear enough to understand, just enough to notice. And the strange part is, these sounds often come from places where no one lives anymore. Some locals ignore it. Others avoid those areas after dark. Because in Salem, it's not about one big, terrifying moment. It's about that constant feeling that something isn't quite right. 5. Mansfield. Mansfield is home to a massive prison structure that stands as one of the most imposing buildings in the state. Even from the outside, it feels heavy. Inside, the atmosphere changes completely. Visitors often describe a strong sense of unease the moment they step through the doors. Sounds carry differently, footsteps echo in unusual ways, and certain areas feel colder than others. There have been reports of objects moving slightly on their own, as well as the feeling of being touched when no one is nearby. Some areas are avoided entirely, not because of rules, but because of how they make people feel. It's the kind of place where silence doesn't feel empty, it feels full. 4. Marietta. Marietta is one of the oldest towns in Ohio, and you can feel that history the moment you step into it. The streets, the buildings, even the atmosphere. It all feels like it's holding on to something from the past. But in Marietta, that past doesn't always stay quiet. One of the most unusual things about this town is what lies beneath it. There are underground tunnels and hidden spaces that were once used for storage and transportation years ago. Many of them are now sealed off, but people say that doesn't mean they're empty. There have been reports of strange sounds coming from below ground, faint footsteps, distant knocking, even what sounds like movement echoing through spaces that shouldn't be accessible anymore. Above ground, things aren't much clearer. Visitors have claimed to see figures standing at the ends of streets late at night, completely still, before disappearing when approached. Others talk about buildings where doors slowly open on their own, or lights flicker for no clear reason. And then there's the feeling. Not fear exactly, just a constant sense that something is there, watching, waiting,
just out of sight. In Marietta, it doesn't feel like the past is gone. It feels like it's still here, just beneath the surface.
3. East Liverpool. East Liverpool has a feeling that's hard to explain the moment you arrive. It's not completely abandoned, but parts of it feel like they've been left behind. Some streets are active and normal, while others sit unusually quiet, almost frozen, like time just stopped moving there. Buildings stand untouched for years, windows dark, doors closed, yet something about them doesn't feel empty. Visitors walking through these areas often report hearing faint sounds, like distant conversations, footsteps, or movement inside nearby structures. But when they stop and listen closely, there's nothing, just silence. Some people have even claimed to see figures at a distance, walking along sidewalks or standing near corners, only for them to disappear moments later. No clear direction, no trace. It creates this strange contrast where one part of the town feels completely alive and another feels like it's stuck in a different time entirely. Not gone, just not fully here anymore. 2. Peninsula. Peninsula is surrounded by natural beauty, thick forests, quiet trails, and peaceful scenery that feels almost untouched. But beneath that calm atmosphere, something feels different. This area is known for strange experiences, especially among hikers who spend time on the trails. Some have reported walking for long periods, following clear paths, only to suddenly realize they've ended up right back where they started. No turns missed, no wrong directions, just back at the same spot. Others describe hearing voices in the distance, soft, almost familiar, calling out their names. But when they stop to listen, everything goes silent again. No footsteps, no people, just the forest. There are also sightings of figures between the trees, standing still, partially hidden, watching from a distance. Not moving, not approaching, just there. Most people brush it off as imagination or tricks of the light, but the ones who experience it firsthand usually say the same thing. It didn't feel like they were lost. It felt like they were being guided. 1. Moonville. Moonville is unlike any other place on this list. It's not just strange, it's almost completely gone. Once a small mining town, Moonville was abandoned years ago, leaving behind only fragments of what used to be there. The most well-known feature is a tunnel that cuts through the landscape, a structure that still stands long after everything else has disappeared. People who visit often describe an immediate shift in atmosphere as they approach it. Sounds become quieter, the air feels heavier. Inside the tunnel, even small noises echo in ways that feel unnatural. Visitors have reported hearing footsteps behind them, only to turn around and see nothing. Others claim they've seen faint shapes at the far end of the tunnel, standing still before fading away. And some say they've noticed lights deep inside, in a place where there shouldn't be any. But the most common experience is a feeling, a strong sense that you're not supposed to be there, and that something knows you are. So now I have to ask you, what do you really think is going on in these towns? Are they just misunderstood places with strange histories? Or is there something deeper, something we can't fully explain? Because the more you look into these locations, the more it starts to feel like not everything has a clear answer. Some places don't just have stories, they leave an impression. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because there are a lot more strange and unexplained places out there, and we're only just getting started. And tell me in the comments, which of these towns would you actually visit? And which one would you never step foot in? I'll see you in the next one.